No, yeah, of course.
Dušan, so on the topic of education, I want to bring it up now to the big, very ambitious goal that you have, which I mentioned in the introduction, with your goal of educating 100 million people about Bitcoin by the year of 2030, which as of the time of this recording, we are closing 2024. At the time of the release, it'll be the first week or second week of 2025. We're 5 years away from this goal. But first of all, before you tell us how this goal's going, like, where did that idea come from to set yourself such a challenge?
So it was about, I think, 2018 or 19 when I was, I think it was when the COVID hit, and I was sitting at home. Everything was closed, and I was like, okay, I was slowly getting more into full-time Bitcoin education, but the world shifted, and it was so unstable, unsure what's going to happen. So I was thinking, like, okay, what's the next chapter of my life going to look like? And at the time, I had a construction company, so I was kind of deciding which way to go. But for me, it was very easily recognizable that I just want to do Bitcoin full time. And I was thinking, okay, I would love to set some milestone or a goal that can be somehow measurable. And why 100 million? 2 reasons. One, because there's 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So I was like, I want to educate as many people as there are Satoshis in one Bitcoin. Like, that's a nice goal. And another reason was that it was so big that I needed to think differently about the whole thing, having a complete different approach. So and I put there year 2030, which I'm not sure if I can make it by the time. I said, like, I'm gonna be happy if it ever happens in my life, but I'm still relying on the exponential function. So potentially the last 2 years will be the exponential will just kick in. But while I was thinking about it, it struck me that I need to think differently. And the approach I took was that during those years when I was in university, I was also teaching kids across Europe train the trainer academies. So how to train other skills, whatever it is, how to set up your session outline, how to work with the audience, how to do public speaking, and all of it. And I was also teaching the public speaking skills. So basically what I realized is that there is a lot of Bitcoiners around the world that are great in Bitcoin. They are like super technical, knowledgeable, and amazing developers and Bitcoiners. But what they're lacking is the soft skill of communication, like how to communicate Bitcoin simply, efficiently, in a way that you're not going to let your students drink from a fire hose. Because I experienced it many times, amazing Bitcoiners just discouraging the newbies with a bunch of jargon, bunch of buzzwords, used in so many different ways that the newbies are like, oh my God, this is not for me. This is too technical. I will never understand Bitcoin. I go do something else. I think the problem is in communication. So what I realized that how I can help is creating a concept, how we can help teachers to get better at teaching, or how we can bring more Bitcoin educators to space. So Bitcoiners who are passionate about education, they would love to be around, but they don't know how, and give them the journey of like, hey, you can become a self-sustainable and full-time educator, and these are the steps that you can take, and this is the soft skill sparse that you can take. Because I understood that if I educate 10,000 educators, if I bring 10,000 educators to space, and each and every one of them will help other 10,000 people to learn about Bitcoin, suddenly we are at 100 million, which is much easier to do than just go me one by one to every kid. And another thing is that I realized Bitcoin education need to be decentralized. And for a reason that there are different cultures, there are different problems in the world. So the tool of Bitcoin is being used differently in different regions and contexts. And I saw it, for example, when in Czech Republic, there is a YouTuber named Kitsom, and he has almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, purely Bitcoin content. When there was this 2020 halving party, there were more people on his stream than on Pompliano's stream. Imagine the big Pompliano having worldwide English reach, and he has less people than the Czech guy.
Wow.
And I was like, damn. But why is that? Because he speaks the language of the local population. He understands the culture. He's one of us. So we rather go to him. And there's so many people that cannot comprehend Bitcoin in English language. They are from various countries. They are not super native. So I realized I would love to empower these local educators because they understand the problems of their surroundings, of their communities. They understand the cultural differences, the language differences, and everything. So it doesn't make sense, I think, to have one platform with English content or content in many languages, but kind of centralized in one point. But I think the people living in those areas, I would love to empower them and give them the tools, the skills, and everything. So this is kind of why we came to a concept called Bitcoin Educators Academy that we can talk about later.
Yeah.
But this is kind of when the number came in, when I realized I want to do it differently, decentralize it, and help with what I had knowledge about before. That I was teaching soft skills, train the trainers, public speaking.
Ready to explore the full AmityAge portfolio? We support Bitcoiners at every stage of their journey. Unlock liquidity without selling your SATA through our concierge Bitcoin-backed loans. Experience seamless, private transactions with our OTC financial services, or build your own hash power with our curated mining solutions. From education to infrastructure, AmityAge helps you build long-term value in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Visit our website to learn more.